and salutations.
Hello and welcome to Saint Genesious production of a little play we like to call Much Ado About Nothing.
2 hours and 45 minutes will have passed before we've told our tale, including a 15-minute intermission.
We invite you to stay as long as you wish or split when you've had your share.
As you can see, this joint is jumping, but these glad rags and stomping grounds don't appear out of thin air.
St. Genesious' Shakespeare in the Park series takes a lot of work, resources, and time to produce.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors and affiliates,
including Suzanne McVeigh and the Village of Villa Park staff, especially Greg Gola and Susan Earle of the Parks and Rec Department, Laura Schnettler and the Chamber of Commerce, Deepa Shriya Kumar and Kevin Patrick, all of our generous sponsors,
Liz Michael,
the D'Angelo family, the Downer family, the Obrachta family, the Frank family, and the Nelson family. I Love Fries, Jade Carpentry Contractors, Mike's Meat Market, Minuteman Press, Pioneer Garden and Feed, Standard Meadery, Villa Park Masonic Lodge, and Vulcan Materials Company.
They're quite simply the cat's pajamas.
Don't be bashful. Go on and pay a visit to these businesses.
If you want some mead with your birdseed or fries with your carpentry, you know who to go to.
How else can you help?
How else can you get involved?
Well, I'm mighty glad you asked.
If you think Saint Genesious is just the bee's knees, there's no better way to show it than considering making a small donation to the organization.
Feel free to purchase some giggle juice and potato chips, or simply scan that newfangled QR code and send your donation directly to our Venmo.
Want to donate your manual or skilled labor to our next production?
Please visit our website and chat with a Saint Genesious company member to see about getting involved with our next production. Now, with much more ado, sit back,
relax,
and enjoy the show.
There's a lot going on with the trees. Oh, there's a messenger that's coming. Yes.
Yes, and then what piece over here? You are so weak.
I read in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He's very near by this. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
Okay.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
Few of any sort and none of name.
A victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find in this letter that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Ah, much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath bore himself beyond the expectations of his age, by doing in the form of a lamb the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectations, and you must expect me to tell you how.
He hath an uncle here in Messina who will be very much glad of it.
I've already delivered him letters. There appears much joy in him. So much so that joy couldn't show itself modestly enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out into tears?
In great measures.
A kind overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those that are so washed. How much better is it to weep at joy than to joy at weeping?
I pray you, is Signor Montanto returned from the wars, or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There is none of any sort in the army.
What is he you ask for, niece?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned and more pleasant than he ever was.
I pray you, how many hath he killed in these wars? For how many hath he killed and eaten? For indeed I promise to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much, but he'll meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service in these wars, lady.
Oh, he is a very valiant trencherman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
Oh, and a good soldier to a lady. But what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
Oh, it is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man, but for the stuffing. Well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There's a sort of merry war betwixt Signor Benedict and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, but he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with one. Who is this new companion? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is this possible?
'Tis very easily possible. He wears his faith but as the fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next block.
I see, lady, the gentleman is not in your books.
No. And he were, I would burn my study. But I pray you, who is this new companion now? Is there no young squarer that will make voyage with him to the devil?
He is mostly in the company of the right noble Claudia.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy, upon him like a disease! was pleasantly mad. Oh, Lord, help the noble Claudio! If he had caught the Benedict, it will cost him £1,000 ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Oh, do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro has approached!
Good Signor Leonardo, are you come to meet your trouble? The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and you encounter it.
Never came trouble to my home in the likeness of your grace, for trouble being gone, comfort should remain. But when you depart from me, sorrow abides and happiness takes his leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Were you in doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no. For then you were a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man. Truly the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
Signor Leonardo be her father, she would not have his head on her shoulders for all Messina as like him as she is.
Oh, I wonder why you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
What on my dear Lady Disdain? Are you yet living?
Is it possible Disdain should die while she hath meat such food defeated as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you came in her presence.
Well, it is certain I am loved of all ladies. Only you excepted. And I would I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
Ah, dear happiness to women! They would have else been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God, and of my cold blood I am of your humor for that. I would rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God, keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall scape a predestinate scratched face.
Oh, scratching cannot make it worse, and 'twere such a face as yours were.
Well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
God, and my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
Oh, I would my horse had the speed of your tongue and so good a continuer. But keep your way. In God's name, I have done.
You always end with a jade's trick. I know you of old.
That is the sum of all, Leonardo. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedict, my dear friend Leonardo hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at the least a month, and he heartily prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn. Let me bid you welcome. My lady, being reconciled to the prince your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I am not of many words, but I thank you.
Please it your grace lead on.
We will go together.
Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonardo? I noted her not, but I looked on her. Is she not a modest young lady? Do you ask me as an honest man should do for my simple true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom, as a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee speak in sober judgment.
Why, in faith, methinks she's too little for high praise, and too low for great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome. And being no other, but as she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sport. I pray thee, tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yeah, and a case to put it into. But, speak you this with a sad brow, or do you play the flouting jack? Come, what key shall the man take you in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I can see no such thing. And there's her cousin. And were she not possessed with that of a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself. though I had sworn the contrary if Hero would be my wife.
Is it come to this? Half the world no man who shall wear his cap with suspicion. Shall I never see a bachelor of threescore again? Oh! Go to in faith, methinks thou wilt thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro is returned to receive you.
What secret hath held you here that you followed not to Leonardo?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell.
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You see, Count Claudio, I can be as silent as a dumb man. I would have you think this. But on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? That's your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonardo's short daughter.
If this were so, so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord. It is not so, nor 'twas it not so, but indeed, God forbid, it should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my two faiths and troughs, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
That I neither feel how she should be loved or know how she should be worthy is the opinion fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she raised me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I will have a retreat winded in my forehead or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me. For I will not do myself the wrong to mistrust any, I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is to which I will go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee, ere I die, look pale with love.
Oh, with anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord. Never with Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I can get again with drinking. Pick out mine eyes with a ballad maker's pen, and hang me up at the door of a brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And let he that hits me first be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Well, as time shall try. In time the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
The savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict wears it, pluck off the bull's horns and place them on my forehead, and let me be vilely painted, and in such great letters as they write, here is a good horse for hire, and let them signify under the sign, here may you see Benedict, the married man.
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid have not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for this shortly.
Oh, I'll look for an earthquake too, then.
Well, you will temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonardo's, and commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made great preparation.
I have enough matter in me, my lord, for such an embassage, and so I commit you.
To the tuition of God from my house, if I had it.
The 6th of August, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock not, mock not. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience. And so, I shall leave you.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Hath Leonardo any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
My lord, when you went onward on that ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye that liked, but had a rougher task at hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and those war thoughts have left their places vacant, and in their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair sweet hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to wars.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hearer with a book of words. If thou dost love fair hero, cherish it, and I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. Wast not to this end that thou beganst to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly you do minister to love, that no loves grief by his complexion. But lest my liking might too sudden seem, I would have salved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge much broader than the flood? Look what will serve is fit. 'Tis once, thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have reveling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair hero I am Claudio. And in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is she shall be thine. In practice let us put it presently.
How now, sister? Where is your daughter? Hath she provided this music?
She's very busy about it. But, brother, I can tell you strange news that you not yet dreamt of.
Are they good?
They show well outward. The prince and Count Claudio were caught walking in a thick-pleached old alley in mine orchard, and was thus much overheard by a man of mine. The prince discovered to Count Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to acknowledge it this night in a dance. And if he found her accordant, he meant to take the present time by the top and break with you of it.
Hath the fellow any wit who told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send for him and question him yourself.
Nay, we shall hold it as a dream till it appear itself. But I will acquaint my daughter withal, so that she may be the better prepared for an answer if peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her of it. Cousin, you know what you have to do. I cry your mercy, friend. Go you with me, and I will use your skill. Good cousin, have a care this busy time.
What the good year, my lady? Why are you thus out of measure so sad?
There is no measure in which the occasion breeds, therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when I have heard it, what blessing brings it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goest about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause and smile at no man's jests, eat when I have stomach and wait for no man's leisure, sleep when I am drowsy and tend on no man's business, laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yea, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he hath ta'en you newly into his grace, where it is impossible that you should take true root, but by the fair weather you make yourself. It's needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I would rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. In this, though it cannot be said that I am a flattering, honest woman, it must not be denied, but I am a plain-dealing villain. I am trusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a clog, and therefore I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here?
Fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars.
Ugh, what news, Baraccio?
I came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato, and I can give intelligence of an intended marriage.
Oh, will it serve for any matter to build mischief on? What is he for, a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Marry, for it is your brother's right hand.
Who, the most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
A proper squire. And who? And who? Which way looks he?
Marry on here the daughter and heir of Leonato.
A very forward march chick. How came you to this?
Being entertained for a perfumer, as I was smoking a musty room, comes me the prince and Claudio, hand in hand in sad conference. I whipped me behind the arras, and there heard agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food for my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him anyway, I bless myself every way. You are both sure and will assist me?
To the death, my lady.
Come, let us to the banquet. Their cheer is the greater that I am subdued. Shall we go prove what's to be done?
We'll wait upon your ladyship.
Was not Countess Donna here at supper?
I saw her not. Oh, how tartly that lady looks. I can never see her, but I'm always heartburned an hour after.
She is of a very melancholy disposition.
They hath an excellent soul that were made just in the midway between her and Benedick. The one, too, is like an image and says nothing, and the other two is like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Then half Signor Benedict's tongue and Countess Donna's mouth, and half Countess Donna's melancholy.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man could win any woman in the world if he could get her goodwill.
By my troth, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
In faith, she's too cursed. Oh, Lord, I cannot endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woolen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
And what shall I do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my gentlewoman? He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth is not for me, and he that is less than a man, I am not for him.
Well, niece, I trust you will be ruled by your father.
Oh, yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make courtesy and say, Father, as it please you, but yet, for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another courtesy and say, Father, as it please me.
Well, niece, I hope to find you one day fitted with a husband.
The fault will be in the music, cousin, if you not be wooed in good time. If the prince be too important, tell him there is measure in everything, and so dance out the answer. For hear me, hero, wooing, wedding, and repenting is a Scotch jig, a measure and a syncopace. The first suit is hot and hasty, like a Scotch jig, as foul as fantastical, the wedding mannerly and modest, full of state and ancientry. And then comes repentance, and with his bad legs he falls faster and faster into the syncopace until he sinks into his grave.
Cousin, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, uncle.
The revelers are entering. Sister, make good room.
Lady, will you walk about with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I am yours for the walk, and especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so as I please.
And when please you to say so?
When I like your favor. For God defend the lute should be like the case.
My visor is Philemon's roof. Within the house is Jove.
Why then, your visor should be thatched.
Speak low if you speak love.
Well, I would you did like me.
So would not I for your own sake, for I have many ill qualities.
Which is one?
I say my prayers aloud.
And I love you the better for it. The hearers may cry, amen.
God match me with a good dancer.
Amen.
And God keep him out of my sight until this dance is done. Answer, clerk.
No more words. The clerk is answered.
You're Senora Antonia.
At word I am not.
Come, I know you by the waggling of your head.
To tell you true,
I counterfeit her. You could not do her so ill well unless you were the very woman.
Here's her dry hand, up and down. You are she, you are she.
At a word, I am not. Do you think I do not know you by your excellent wit? Can virtue hide itself? Go to, mum. You are she. Graces will appear, and there's an end.
Will you not tell me who told you so?
No, you shall pardon me.
Nor will you tell me who you are.
Not now.
That I was disdainful, and that I had my good wit out of the 100 merry tales. Well, it was Signor Benedict that said so.
Let's see.
I'm sure you know him well enough.
Not I. Believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you, what is he?
Why, he is the princess jester. A very dull fool whose only gift is in devising impossible slanders. None but the libertines delight in him, and the commendation is not in his wit, but in his villainy, for he both pleases men and angers them, and then they laugh at him and beat him! I'm sure he's in the fleet.
When I know the gentleman, I will tell him what you have said.
Oh, do. Now but break a comparison or two on me, which peradventure not laughed at or marked on, will strike him into a melancholy. And there will be a partridge wing saved, for the fool will have no supper that night. We must follow the leaders.
An every good thing.
Nay, if they lead to any ill, I will leave them at the next turning.
I kiss her once, I kiss her twice. Oh, how I love my darling. When lights are low, the radio helps entertain my darling. The bedtime stories used to tickle her so. I tried a couple, but the answer was no. Just after that, I left her flat. Oh, how I love my darling. I kiss her once, I kiss her twice. Oh, how I love my darling. In her coupe, most every day, I ride beside my darling. She goes out speeding and I can't make her stop. But then one night she went and ran down a cop. I'm out on bail, she's still in jail. Oh, how I love my darling.
Son hero and hath withdrawn her father to break with him about it. Ugh. The ladies follow her, yet one visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are you not Signor Benedict?
You know me well. I am he.
Signor, you are very near my brother in his love. He is enamored on Hero. I pray you dissuade him from her. She is no equal in his birth. You may do the part of an honest man in it.
How know you he loves her?
I heard him swear his affection.
And so did I too, and he swore he would marry her tonight.
Come, let us to the banquet.
Thus answer I in the name of Benedict. But hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so. The prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things save the office and affairs of love. Therefore, all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself, and trust no agent. For beauty is a witch, against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio!
Yea, the same.
Come, will you go with me?
Whither?
Even to the next willow about your own business, County. Come, what fashion will you wear the garland of? Around your neck like a usurer's chain, or under your arm like a lieutenant's scarf? Ah, you must wear it one way, for the prince have got your hero.
I wish him joy of her.
Why, that's spoken like an honest drover, so they sell bullocks. But would you think the prince have served you thus?
I pray you leave me.
Oh, now. You strike like the blind man. 'Twas the boy that stole your meat, and you'll beat the post.
If it will not be, I'll leave you.
Alas, poor hurt fowl, now will he creep into sedges. Ah. But that my Lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. The prince's jester? It may be I go about that title because I am merry. I am not so reputed. It is the base, though bitter disposition of Beatrice that puts the world into her person and therefore puts me out. Well, I'll be revenged as I may.
Now, senor, where's the count? Did you see him?
My troth, my lord, I have played the part of Lady Fame. I found him here, as melancholy as a lodge in a warren. I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had got the goodwill of this young lady, and I would accompany him to a willow, either to make him a garland as being forsaken, or to bind him up to a rod as being worthy to be whipped.
To be whipped? What's his fault?
Oh, the flat transgression of a schoolboy who, being overjoyed at finding a bird's nest, shows it his companion, and he steals it.
Wilt thou make a trust a transgression? The transgression is in the stealer.
Yet it had not been amiss, the rod had been made, and the garland too. For the garland he might have worn himself, and the rod he might have bestowed upon you. For, as I take it, has stolen his bird's nest.
I will but teach them to sing and restore them to the owner.
If your singing answer my saying, by my faith you say honestly.
The Lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
She misused me past the endurance of a block. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's jester. A very dull thaw, huddling jest upon jest, with such impossible conveyance, that I stood like a man at a mark with a whole army shooting at me. She speaks poignards, and every word stabs. If her breath were as terrible as her terminations, there were no living near her. She would infect to the North Star. I would not marry her, though she were endowed with all that Adam had left before he transgressed. She would have made Hercules turn spit, yea, and have cleft his club to make fire too. Come, talk not of her.
Come now.
I would to God some scholar would conjure her, for certainly while she is here, a man may live as quiet in hell as in a sanctuary, and people sin upon purpose, for they would go thither. So indeed, all disquiet, perturbation, and horror follows her.
Look, here she comes.
Will your grace command me any service now to the world's end? I will go on the slightest errand to the antipodes that you can devise to send me on. I will fetch you a toothpicker from the furthest inch of Asia. bring you the length of Prester John's foot, fetch you a hair off the great champ's beard. Have you any embassage to the pygmies rather than hold 3 words conference with this harpy? You have no employment for me?
None but to desire your good company.
Oh, God. My lord, here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady tongue. Mwah.
Come, lady, come. You have lost the heart of Signor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord. He lent it me a while, and I gave him use for it. A double heart for his single one. Marry, once before he wanted of me with false dice. Therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I prove the mother of fools. I have brought Count Claudio, whom you've sent me to seek.
Why, how now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then? Sick?
Neither, my lord.
The count is neither sad, nor sick, nor merry, nor well, but civil count. Civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
In faith, lady, I think your blazon to be true. Though I'll be sworn, if he be so, his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I have wooed in thy name, and fair hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his good will obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Count, take of me my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and all grace say amen to it.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. Lady, as you are mine, I am yours. I give away myself for you, and dote upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss and let him speak neither. Oh.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
Indeed, my lord. I thank it, poor fool. Keeps on the windy side of care. Oh, my cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Oh, good lord for alliance! Thus goes everyone to the world but I, and I am sunburnt. I may sit in a corner and cry, hi-ho for a husband!
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I would rather have one of your father's getting. Hath your grace ne'er a brother like you? Your father got excellent husbands if a maid could come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
No, my lord. Unless I might have another for working days. Oh, but your grace is too costly to wear every day. But I beseech your grace to pardon me. I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me, and to be merry best becomes you. For out of question you were born in a merry hour.
No, sure, my lord, my mother cried, but then there was a star that danced, and under that star I was born. Cousins, God give thee joy.
Niece, will you look to those things I told you of?
I cry your mercy, uncle. By your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant-spirited lady.
There is little of the melancholy element in her, my lord. She is never sad but when she sleeps, and she is never sad then, for I've heard my daughter say she hath often dreamt of unhappiness and waked herself with laughing.
She cannot endure to hear tell of a husband.
By no means. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife for Benedict.
My lord, if they were but a week married, they would talk themselves mad.
County Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord. Time goes on crutches to love of all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which is hence just the 7 nights, and a time too brief, too, to have all things answer my mind.
Come! You shake the head at so long a breathing, but I warrant thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will in the interim undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and the Lady Beatrice into a mountain of affection, the one with the other. I would fain have it a match, and I doubt not but to fashion it, if you will but minister such assistance as I shall give you direction.
My lord, I'm for you, though it cost me 10 nights' watchings.
And I, my lord.
And you too, gentle hero?
I will do any modest office, my lord, to help my cousin to a good husband.
And Benedick is not the unhopefullest husband that I know. Thus far can I praise him. He is of a noble strain, of approved valor, and confirmed honesty. I will teach you how to humor your cousin, that she shall fall in love with Benedick. And I, with your 2 helps, will so practice on Benedick that, in despite of his quick wit and his queasy stomach, he shall fall in love with Beatrice. If we can do this, Cupid is no longer an archer. His glory shall be ours, for we are the only love gods. Go in with me, and I will tell you my drift.
It is so the Count Claudius marry the daughter of Leonato.
Yeah, my lady, but I can cross it.
Any bar, any cross, any impediment will be medicinable to me. I am sick in displeasure with him, and whatsoever comes athwart his affection ranges evenly with mine. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Not honestly, my lady, but so covertly that no dishonesty shall appear in me.
Show me briefly how.
I think I told your ladyship a year since how much I am in the favor of Ursula, the waiting gentlewoman to Hero.
Oh, I remember.
I can at any unseasonable instant of the night appoint her to look out at her chamber window.
What proof is it? What life is in that to be the death of this marriage?
The poison of that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince your brother, and spread to tell him that he hath wronged his honor in marrying the renowned Claudio, whose estimation do you mightily hold up, to contaminated stale such a one as Hero.
What proof shall I make of that?
Proof enough to misuse the prince, to vex Claudio, to undo Hero, and kill Leonato. Look you for any other issue?
Only to despite them, I will endeavor anything.
Go then, find me a maid hour, draw down Pedro and the Count Claudio alone. And tell them that you know that Hero loves me, and send a kind of zeal both to the prince and Claudio, as in love of her brother's honor, who hath made his match, and his friend's reputation, who is thus like to be cozened in the summits of a maid that you have discovered thus. They will scarcely believe this without trial. Offer them instances which shall bear no less likelihood than to see me at her chamber window, hear me call Ursula Hero, and bring them to see this the very night before the intended wedding. For in the meantime, I will so fashion the matter that Hero shall be absent, and there shall appear such seeming truth of Hero's disloyalty, that jealousy shall be called assurance, and all the preparation overthrown.
Grow this to what adverse issue it can, and I will put it in practice. Be cunning in the working thus, and thy fee is 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in the accusation, and my cunning shall not shame me.
I will presently go learn their day of marriage.
Kid! Signor?
On my chamber window lies a script. Bring it hither to me in the orchard.
I am here already, sir.
I know that, but I would have thee hence and here again. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behavior to love, will, after having laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music in him, but the drum and the fife, and now would he hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would walk 10 miles afoot to see a good armor, and now would he lie 10 nights awake carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. Now his thoughts are turned to orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. Till he hath made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. Another wise, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall never come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or come not near me. Mild, or I'll look not on her. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of what color it please God. The prince and monsieur love. I will hide me in the arbor.
Come, shall we hear this music?
Yea, my good lord. How still the evening is, as hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See you where Benedict hath hid himself?
Very well, my lord. The music ended, we'll fit the kid fox with a pennyworth.
Come, Balthazar, we'll hear that song again.
Oh, no, my lord, tax not so bad a voice to slander music more than once.
It is the witness still of excellence to put a strange face on her own perfection. I pray thee, sing, and let me woo no more.
Because you talk of wooing, I will sing. Since many a wooer doth commence his suit to her he deems not worthy, yet he woos, yet will he swear he loves.
Nay, pray thee, come, or if thou wilt hold longer argument, do it in notes.
Note this before my notes. There is not a note of mine that is worth the noting.
Notes, notes, forsooth, and nothing.
Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. Men were deceivers ever. One foot in sea and one on shore. To one thing constant never. Then sigh not so, but let them go. And be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey nonny nonny. Sing no more ditty, sing no more of dumps so dull and heavy. The fraud of men was never so till summer first was levied. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey nonny nonny.
By my troth, a good song.
Oh, and an ill singer, my lord.
No, Faith, thou singst well enough for a shift. Balthazar, I pray thee get us some excellent music, for tomorrow night we would have it at the Lady Hero's chamber window.
Oh, the best I can, my lord.
Do so. Farewell. Come hither, Leonato. What was it you told me of today? That your niece Beatrice was in love with Signor Benedict?
Aye. Stock on, the fowl sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither, but most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedick, whom she hath in all outward behavior seemed ever to abhor.
Is it true? Sits the wind in that corner?
By my troth, my lord, I know not what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection. It is past the infinite of thought.
Maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh, God, counterfeit. Never was counterfeit of passion came so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why? What effects of passion shows she?
Bait the hook well, this fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? You heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed.
How? How, I pray you? You amaze me. I would have thought her spirit had been invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedick.
I should think that this is a gull, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Knavery cannot hide himself in such reverence.
He hath ta'en the infection. Hold it up.
Hath she made her affection known to Benedick?
No, and swears she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis true indeed, so your daughter says. Shall I, says she, that have so oft encountered him with scorn, write to him that I love him?
This says she now as she is beginning to write. For she will be up 20 times a night, and there she will sit in her smock till she has read a sheet of paper. My daughter tells us all.
Now you talk of a sheet of paper. I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
When she had read it and was reading it over, she found Benedick and Beatrice between the sheets.
That.
She tore it into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she should be so immodest to write to someone that she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirits, for I should flout him if he writs in me, yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down on her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Ah, sweet Benedick, God give me patience.
She doth indeed, my daughter says so. It is very true.
It were good that Benedick knew of it by some other, if she will not discover it.
To what end? He would make but a sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should. It were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedick.
Oh, I'm sorry for her. Yes, I have just cause, being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage on me. I would have daffed all other respects and made her half myself. I pray you tell Benedick of it, and hear what he will say.
Were it good, think you?
Hero thinks surely she will die, for she says she will die if he loves her not, and she will die ere she make her love known, and she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness.
She doth well. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
He is a very proper man.
He hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God and in my mind, very wise.
He doth indeed show some sparks that are like wit.
And I take him to be valiant.
As Hector, I assure you. And in the managing of quarrels, you may say he is wise, for either he avoids them with great discretion, or undertakes them with a most Christian-like fear. Well, I am sorry for your niece. Shall we go seek Benedick and tell him of her love?
Never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
Nay, that's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter. Let it cool the while. I love Benedick well, and I could wish he would modestly examine himself to see how much he is unworthy so good a lady.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
If he do not dote on her upon this, I will never trust my expectation.
Let there be the same net spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewomen carry. The sport will be when they hold one in opinion of another's dotage, and no such matter. That's the scene I would see. Let us send her to call him in to dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of it from Hero. Oh, they seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me? Why, it must be requited. Oh, here I am censured. Oh, they say I will bear myself too proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that she would rather die than show any signs of affection. I did not think to marry. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that can hear their detractions and put them to mending. The lady is fair. 'Tis a truth, I can bear them witness. And virtuous, 'tis true, I cannot reprove it. And wise, but for loving me. By my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. Oh, I may chance have some odd remnants or quirks or of wit broken upon me, for I have rallied against marriage for so long, but doth not the appetite alter? Shall quips and these sentences and paper bullets of the brain awe a man out of the future of his career? No! The world must be peopled! When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I would live till I was married! Ah, here comes Beatrice! By this day, she is a fair lady! I do spot some marks of love on her.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come in to dinner.
Oh, sweet Beatrice! I thank you for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
So, you take pleasure in the message.
Yay! Just so much as you may take upon a knife's point. You have no stomach, senor. Fare you well.
Ha! Against my will, I am bid send to call you in to dinner. There's a double meaning in that. I took no more pains for thanks than you took pains for thanking me. Why, that's almost as easy to say any pains I take for you are as easy as thanks. If I do not pity her, I am a villain. If I do not love her, I am a miser. I will go get her picture.
You were great.
Good Margaret, run thee to the parlor. There shalt thou find my cousin Beatrice. Whisper her ear and tell her that I, Ursula, and Balthazar walk in the orchard, and our whole discourse is all of her. This is thy office. Bear thee well in it.
I will make her come, I warrant thee, presently.
Now, when Beatrice doth come, as we do trace this alley, up and down, our talk must only be of Benedict. When I do name him, let it be thy part to praise him more than ever man did merit. My talk to thee must be how Benedict is sick in love with Beatrice. Of this matter is little Cupid's crafty arrow made. That only wounds by hearsay. Now, you should begin, for they'll come soon.
Fear you not my part of the dialogue.
Then we go near her, that her ear lose nothing of the false sweet bait that we lay for it.
No, truly, Ursula, she is too disdainful. I know her spirits are as coy and wild as haggards of the rock.
Oh, but are you sure that Benedict loves Beatrice so entirely?
So says the prince, and my newly betrothed lord.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madam?
They did entreat me to acquaint her of it, but I persuaded them, if they loved Benedict, to wish him wrestle with his affection, and never to let Beatrice know of it.
Why did you so? Doth not the gentleman deserve as full as fortunate a bed as ever Beatrice shall couch upon?
God of love, I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man, but nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice. Disdain and scorn ride sparkling in her eyes, mispassing what they look on, and her wit values itself so highly that to her all matter else seems weak. She cannot love, nor take no shape, nor project of affection. She is so self-endeared.
Sure, I think so, and therefore it were not good she knew his love, lest she'll make sport at it.
Why? You speak truth. I never yet saw a man, how wise, how noble, young, how rarely featured. But she would spell him backward. If fair-faced, she would swear the gentleman to be her sister. If tall, a lance, ill-headed. If low, an agate, very vilely cut. If speaking, why, a vein blown with all winds. If silent, a black moved with none. So she turns every man the wrong side out.
Sure, such carping is not commendable.
No, not to be so odd and from all fashions, as Beatrice is, cannot be commendable. But who dares tell her so? If I should speak, she would mock me into air. She would laugh me out of myself, press me to death with wit. Oh. Therefore, let Benedict, like covered fire, consume away in sighs. Waste inwardly. It were a better death than die with mocks, which is as bad as die with tickling.
Yet tell her of it, hear what she will say.
Hey! No, rather, I will go to Benedict and counsel him to fight against his passion. And truly, I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin with. One doth not know how much an ill word may empoison liking.
Oh, do not do your cousin such a wrong. She cannot be so much without true judgment, having so swift and excellent a wit as she is prized to have, as to refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedict.
He is the only man of Italy! Always accepted, my dear Claudio.
When are you married, madam?
Why? Every day tomorrow. Come, go in. I'll show you these summer attires. Which is the best to furnish me tomorrow?
Oh, she's lambed, I warrant you. We have caught her, madams.
If it proves so, then loving goes by haps. Some Cupid kills with arrows, some with traps.
What fire is in mine ears? Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt farewell, and maiden pride adieu. No glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedict, love on, for I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind up our loves in a holy band.
I kiss her once, I kiss her twice. Oh, how I love my darling.